The military operation worked. The fact is that none of this would have occurred without the leadership of our president and our great armed forces. The military operation was spectacular. We were right to attack the Iranian regime, and we were right to defend our nation and the world from a real nuclear threat. We needed about another 2 weeks to finish hitting the remaining targets on the Pentagon's list. We stopped. And during the entire ceasefire, Iran and Hezbollah in particular violated the ceasefire so many times I can't count.
Well, the great Mark Levin is back, this time talking about how Iran is not hiding from us exactly what they want and how we can win. And of course, I want to hear what you have to say about this incredible video, so don't forget to leave your comments below. Subscribe to this channel, and we'll talk to you on the other end of the video.
Now, as you surely heard by now, the Iranian regime's military is in a shambles. Its Navy and Air Force are mostly destroyed. Its radar mostly destroyed. Its ground-to-air defense systems mostly destroyed. Its nuclear sites mostly destroyed. Its enriched uranium bombed so badly it's unreachable. You've heard that the first and second tier of the Iranian regime leadership has been eliminated, that the regime is in turmoil, that they are economically all but dead. Its currency has no value. It's got massive inflation. They can't pay its military. It's begging for economic relief. It's begging for a deal. Okay, great. That's great. The military operation worked. The fact is that none of this would have occurred without the leadership of our president and our great armed forces. And during the most crucial part of this war, without the leadership of the Prime Minister of Israel and their armed forces. The historic accomplishment here is truly breathtaking. The military operation was spectacular. We were right to attack the Iranian regime, and we were right to defend our nation and the world from a real nuclear threat and a regime that spent 47 years killing Americans, our people, our Marines, our sailors, our embassy staff. It's too bad we don't have the graphics, the capability to put up the faces and names of the thousands of Americans who've been murdered by this regime and its proxies like Hezbollah, or those who've been maimed without legs, without eyes, without arms. When the Iranian regime was attacking us during the Battle of Iraq, the justification for going to war is beyond debate. Something happened along the way. We stopped. For a variety of reasons, some stated and some not. Even though it was said, we needed about another 2 weeks to finish hitting the remaining targets on the Pentagon's list. We stopped. A 2-week ceasefire has extended to 9 weeks. And during the entire ceasefire, Iran and Hezbollah in particular violated the ceasefire so many times I can't count. While we mostly ignored it, the Israelis fought back against Hezbollah, which was launching missiles and drones into its northern communities. And we act like there's no history with Hezbollah. Hezbollah has killed our people. And not only that, they signed some grand agreement in the 1980s, and they ripped it up. And they are occupying Lebanon. They are tormenting, killing, and abusing the Christians in Lebanon. What about them? How come nobody talks about them? Because apparently we don't give a damn. So now we're talking about a memorandum of understanding, which was negotiated through mediators like Qatar and Pakistan with the Iranian terrorist regime. And at times, we were negotiating directly with the Iranian terrorist regime, and still a terrorist regime under our own identification. The Iranian negotiators were being characterized as moderate and even reasonable. We heard last week that they confided that the last 47 years of their murderous activities, including the mass murder of their own people and our people and other people, was a mistake. We made a mistake, they tell us. And that gave us optimism that maybe, just maybe, we could get something done. And then maybe they'll join the Abraham Accords. That said, we were told the MOU had numerous conditions built into it to ensure that the enemy would either comply with the terms or be denied the benefits. And in fact, otherwise we might bomb them again. There's nothing here about the Iranian people. Anywhere. Did we not tell them that we would come and help them? Did we? Did we not mean it? Did it get too complicated? See, this is what happens when you're making deals as opposed to destroying a regime and getting an unconditional surrender. I'm just laying it out so you, the American people, have everything. You make the decisions, not some controlled information. And these old slogans that those who dare to point out these problems are warmongers or support forever wars are not only imbecilic, they're illogical. By not ending this regime, their war will go on. Maybe not right now, but it will. It absolutely will when they're ready and able to go again with some of the money that we're allowing them to get. Billions and billions. Well, it's not our money. Who cares? The warmongers are the isolationists, the pacifists, and the appeasers who empower the Iranian regime and our enemies, their proxies, to kill our citizens, to stand down while the enemy stands up, to hide while they shoot at us. That's not American. And to address that and confront it and deal with it is not a warmonger. That's a patriot. We lost thousands of our fellow Americans because of the isolationists and their ilk. The last 47 years, they reigned. They were in charge. We were isolationists. We didn't hit back. Look, there's more, but that's enough for now. Let us hope that in the next 60 days, some major changes and a final agreement can be made. That said, some of this is immediate, so they won't be changed in that regard. And what's mostly immediate are the concessions. I just see no language, not even in item 13, which talks about meeting certain hurdles, some of which are already immediate, and as a condition of moving on to 60-day negotiation period. And this is despite assurances made on TV shows that they have to comply or little happens. Again, much of what they receive is up front. But here's the biggest issue. The biggest problem is the enemy. The enemy hasn't surrendered. It's never going to surrender. It will never abandon its cause and its revolution. Any deal to them isn't worth the paper it's written on. It may last for a while. That's what they're banking on, survival, and then reconstruction, and then strike. And so they'll agree to this for a period of time. They'll take all the benefits they can get after they get the $300 billion, however long that takes. Then they can thumb their nose at us and say, what are you going to do about what we're about to do? I've explained time and again that the Iranian regime is not going to sign some agreement and then honor it in direct and explicit violation of its political theocratic ideology and revolution. It never has and it never will. Khomeini explained all of this in black and white. They exist for the end days, for the catastrophic destruction of civilization, starting with Israel, then the United States, then the entire West, and all humanity. This is a death cult. Suicide bombers who want nuclear weapons. And no sooner did the president sign a copy of the MOU than this is reported by open source intel. The new rational leader in Iran, Khalibaf, and one of the key negotiators of that MOU, speaking on Iranian state TV, after the agreement was reached, he said, if we truly seek justice for Khomeini, then that justice will be achieved through the liberation of Jerusalem. We must be committed to that vision and carry out that mission. And there are others who are saying the same thing. Now, you'll be told, well, don't listen to them. It's just rhetoric. It's just listen to every word. Digest it and understand it. They mean it.
Well, there was a great Mark Levin with some incredible commentary about these negotiations that are happening right now with J.D. Vance in Switzerland. Let's bring up some of the main points he mentioned here. Number one, he's asking that these pundits, these people that are on the far woke right or the far left, stop bullying the state of Israel. Israel is a small, tiny nation, but at the same time, one of the most successful, powerful, and reliable partners that America's ever had. Just think about that. While Britain denied us access to their shipping lanes, to their bases, France, Germany, Italy, all turned their backs to America during this important conflict, which is going to benefit them by getting rid of their nuclear weapons, I mean the Iranians. Well, they were doing that. There was one country where, as the Saudis and the Qataris and other people, Bahrain and others, that were scared of the Iranians being blasted day by day with ballistic missiles, there was one country that fought back that Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and the UAE turned to. That was the state of Israel. We have to be very thankful that after a month or so of pressured military conflict with the Iranians, that was with the United States Navy, United States Army, United States Air Force, and the Israeli Air Force and the Israeli Defense Forces and their intelligence agencies, they were able to decimate large swaths of the infrastructure which keeps alive the IRGC, this murderous regime that only wants to murder and kill, murder its own people up to 50,000 in January. That's not the millions of people they've slaughtered since 1979, and the women they throw acid upon, and the people they've cut their body parts off, and the people they've tortured. That's the Iranian mullahs. That's Shia Islam under the IRGC. But it's not just that, it's the Israelis that were fighting back with the American government to defeat one of the most evil governments in the world. They were severely damaged. Their military capabilities were severely damaged. Their air defenses were destroyed. Their nuclear infrastructure was largely destroyed. And much of Iran's top leadership was eliminated. Those are remarkable, remarkable things. We cannot underestimate the intelligence, the training, the sophistication of technology between Israel and the United States of America for over 40 years, developing their airplanes together, having many defense packs together. Israel is the outstretched arm for the United States in the Middle East. There was no one else there for them, no one else supporting Donald Trump except the state of Israel. So stop bullying the state of Israel for this. Israel is doing the best they can to survive. Israel is a tiny nation in a vast Middle East. Israel is about the size of New Jersey, as opposed to the Middle East, which is the size of the United States. That's basically to understand the proportions of what Israel is facing. Imagine many states around New Jersey trying to destroy it. That's what Israel is facing. They're doing the best they can. So it's important to understand that we have to keep up the pressure on the Iranians, because the only thing that the Iranians really respect is power. They're not really respecting these negotiations. They've been given a lot of carrots, or a very big carrot, and they've broken the stick, the Americans, at this point. The only stick the Americans are holding in their cards is they're going to be punitive militarily if they see the Iranians are going off course, whether they block the Strait of Hormuz, which I think they've done right now, whether they're sending their proxies, a wing of the Iranian army, the IRGC in Lebanon, sending thousands of missiles and drones to murder as many civilians as possible. This has to stop. And the only thing that's going to make it stop is the strength in the United States. And unfortunately, we have not yet gotten what we wanted. We've said we're giving you everything we want. We're backing off, giving you tons of money to help rebuild you from your own money and for other monies around the world. And then we're going to negotiate the uranium enrichment, nuclear weapons development, and ballistic missile programs. The problem is those things keep this regime alive. We haven't defanged or declawed this extremely violent regime. And the only way to do that is through force. I would say the best deal would be, first, let's see your progress with uranium, with ballistic missiles. Let's see your progress with Hezbollah, and then we'll start giving you money. Now, Donald Trump, to be honest with you, has hinted to this, and has J.D. Vance as well. They're looking for regional peace. They believe they have enough leverage on them right now because they put the pressure on them. They're negotiating with them in good faith. It remains to be seen, in actuality, if the Iranians are actually going to negotiate and are going to be fair-minded and direct and not lying, because the Iranians have this 47-year history of lying, of obfuscating, of using negotiations as a means to stall and to build their nuclear weapons. That's exactly what they've been doing, and that's why they've been building their nuclear weapons facilities underneath mountains. Now, if you have a peaceful nuclear program, why in the world would you put it inside a mountain? And what they've been doing is trying to obfuscate, trying to push away the IAEA, lying to them, as the United Nations has said for years, about their true intentions. The only thing they respect, the Iranians, is power, because their entire society is based upon murder and power and the apocalypse of this type of Mahdi that will come back at the end of days and murder all the Jews and Christians in the world. And therefore, in their minds, Islam will survive and will gain power over the entire world. This is what they're thinking. These are not even former Soviets. They're not former Chinese. They're not former Europeans. Even the death wishes of the Germans were not embodied by everybody in Germany. In the Shia Islam world, the entire leadership is out for the apocalypse. That means they don't really care about their lives. They're not negotiating as you and I would negotiate as Americans, as people from the Judeo-Christian civilizational world, that we care about life, we care about meaning, We care about a healthy and free society. They don't care about any things we care about. The only thing they care about is power. They're like that bully in the schoolyard that you have to be tough with. Every time you kowtow to the bully, the worse you get in your positioning. The stronger you are, the stronger your lines are, the more they back down, they whimper away. We have to stop the bully of the Middle East. The mullahs of Iran, the RGC, are the Nazis of the 21st century. There's no question about it. They represent an existential threat to the West. If they, God forbid, get nuclear weapons, the West is actually finished right now. Can you imagine what they would have done now over the last few months if they had nuclear weapons and threatened to use them? Perhaps they might have used them. Even just threatening them would have terrified all the nations all around them into submission. So thank God we have people like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance that are willing to fight for us. But let's see how strong they stay. And I'm telling you, the American media, the mainstream media, the Democratic Party who support the Iranians, they're looking for the downfall of Trump. They don't care if he wins or loses. But if he loses, Donald Trump, this is the downfall of the United States power around the world. And of course, I want to hear what you have to say about this incredible video. So don't forget to leave your comments below. Subscribe to this channel, and we'll talk to you in future great videos.